Small house needs a refresh, just some paint and it's ready. That's what you'll tell a real estate agent.
Sure, but what we really want is to tear it all down. We love renovation and construction. So to keep it simple, we're only going to keep the tiles and the framework. By the way, we'll need to clean the moss off the roof because it's in really bad shape. Despite the moss, we're keeping the tiles, framework, and walls. And for the rest, we get rid of all this junk. We start from scratch. We're going to rebuild everything. So, insulation, drywall, insulated partitions, and of course, drywall with a metal frame. We'll take care of the plaster, the paint, the floors, the plumbing, the electricity, and the drainage.
We even have a terrace to build outside, and I will do it as well. So it wasn't planned, but I will do it.
I'm going to take care of the garden because if I make you a great video about the terrace, which is going to be beautiful, it's bamboo, about 28 square meters of terrace. And while the garden is not maintained at all, there's a damn concrete fence that ruins everything with 2 thuja trees that need to be taken care of. It won't look good on video, so I'll bring one of my robots from home and introduce it to you. I had already done it in a video, but I didn't finish. We'll put the home robot in the garden to work on its own while I focus on the house. We'll deal with the rest later. I also have to redo the garage because the garage is big enough to fit a car inside, but the doors are rotten. We need to install the water heater in the garage because right now it's in the bathroom. We're about to open the water heater. I'm excited since this house hasn't been lived in for years. I'm curious to see what the water in the water heater looks like. It could be interesting, especially since the water heater is in the garage. So we've got quite a bit of work to redo all the plumbing from the garage to the kitchen and the bathroom. Same for the drains.
What else do we have to do?
We have a video intercom to install at the gate. The gate is electric. It's made of aluminum. The only good things about the house are the patio doors, which are polyvinyl chloride and in great condition. They all close perfectly. They were definitely replaced not very long ago. The only good things about this house are the gate and polyvinyl chloride patio doors. And the shower cabin, we'll break it because it's a crappy thing, but the doors are in really good condition. For me, they've never been used. There's not a trace of limescale, so maybe I'll take them apart and use them for the future shower, plain and simple. We're saving space since this is homemade for a couple or single person. But the toilet separated from the bathroom with a hallway, we lose space. So we're going to put everything in the same room and we'll even save space. We're making the closet smaller to enlarge the bathroom, but the layout will mostly stay the same. The bedroom, the living room, dining area, kitchen, and bathroom in the corner with the little hallway that's right here. So, a lot of work, we're going to have a blast. I'll try to show you as much as possible, lots of tips, because we're going to discover a lot. Of course, the floor, we're going to redo everything. Full leveling over the entire surface, because right now it's a real patchwork. There's not a single floor that's the same. We'll start by breaking everything. That's the best part. The garage door, instead of bothering to strip it, well, we're just going to replace it completely. We're going to build a steel structure, something sturdy, at least so it's secure during the work, because I want to store equipment here. So we're going to redo this door and also this one. Now this one is even going to be moved because the goal here is to block off the door, to fill it in with cellular concrete or plaster, whatever. We could install the water heater here so it runs directly into the house. You'd have to run the pipes above the lintel anyway, so it's easier to just place it there and go straight into the house. And this window, it goes and we put the door here with an opening against the wall. And then, of course, we're going to clean everything up. Cleaning the walls with pressure, repainting white, and updating electricity are just like what we did in the rest of the house. It's not up to code at all. So we might as well redo everything. Okay. The door, I told you, it's going, and here we get to the outside. We're going to make a small wooden deck, a small deck, maybe even a very large deck, knowing that the garden goes all the way to the end. They used to enjoy fencing this in. We had to break it down and cut the tua trees because the end of the garden wasn't visible. There's a huge eucalyptus tree over there. If that one hits the house, we're done for. That's my main house water supply over there. And here, we'll need to make a space for the future terrace because we have to install an outdoor unit for the air conditioning.
Because if we start installing the outdoor unit on the terrace, the day we need to replace some terrace boards or make a change,
we'll have to take apart the outdoor unit. So it really needs to be separated from the terrace. There's still some work left outside, but this terrace will be nice, letting residents go out directly from the kitchen to the terrace. One partition wall down, then another. It feels good to smash things in there with a sledgehammer. Honestly, it's a great way to let off steam. Now, you might think that using a reciprocating saw would be faster. Except some of your swings are really powerful. This non-insulated wooden partition with mortise and tenon joints holds everything together. I told you the nail size is another issue. It kept things together, but it'll ruin your reciprocating saw blades. Instead, hit the mortise and tenon joints at the ceiling and floor with a sledgehammer. That weakens them. We fold everything and take it out. I remove things as I go, or I'll be overwhelmed with BA10. So it's even easier to break. And of course, we're going to rebuild the partitions with a metal frame, insulation, and BA13 on both sides. So I still have to do this corner. So the toilet, bathroom, hallway, and the kitchen partition, the wall lining, the ceiling. Let me tell you the story behind this shower cabin. Earlier I mentioned the doors. We might reuse them since they're in good condition. But believe it or not, there was a scammer who came and charged for this between $4,000 and $5,000. And he went into the bathroom, he saw that the floor was rotten. The water heater installation is fully exposed. The sink, the latest lighted mirror with, of course, up-to-code electricity, the attic access hatch, all in the bathroom. Then, seeing it all exposed, he said, well, come on, 4,000, 5,000 is fine. I think for that price, we could have redone everything, considering the size of the bathroom. This crook works at the market, scamming elderly people. Yeah, so here we have Spider-Man right here. Is he going to work with me, Spider-Man, on the construction site? We'll meet again, Spider-Man, so there you go. Be careful at the market. Don't fall for a scammer. Who's charging you $4,000, $5,000? I didn't know there were razors and special hair dryers with that kind of plug. I wanted to remove the mirror, but I can't lift it or see how it's attached, so I might break it. There we have some kind of hooks. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it was attached, so I'm going to tear everything out. And above, there's a plastic bag. If I can get to it. It's really wedged in there. There we go. Who's that? Nochi B? So Nochi B? I didn't know he made electrical equipment. I thought he made perfumes. But well, apparently. It must be replacing Rexel or Yes Electric if you need equipment. Nochi B, guys. And in there, what does it say?
We've got a piece of wire here.
Oh, it's stuck. There, that's it. That was to make an insulator for the connector block. Perfect. Want your money's worth? Here you go. Some wooden slats and silicone. Not even glue. It just comes off by itself. And as a bonus, just for me, I get the nice little water leak too. Ah, that's something. No, it makes me happy. I care about it. I'll leave you with the water infiltration. Oh, that's so kind. Well, what do we think about all this? So, you see that waterproofing under the tiles actually serves a purpose. Now, you might say, yes, but it's a shower stall, but that doesn't matter. The silicone seal isn't enough. Water seeps in, whether it's a polyvinyl chloride panel or ceramic tiles. It seeps in and rises, 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 and it ruins everything. Everything is ruined. So we're going to take apart the rest, and in my opinion, it's the same everywhere. So why bother making a gasket? With silicone around the shower tray before putting up the walls or the tiles. You can remove it there, it's convenient. Look at that. If that's not beauty, I don't know what is. Maybe it worked for him, but it leaked, ended up underneath, maybe through a hole he made. It happened, and now no one talks about it. Cellular concrete works everywhere, it really does. The small pot of glue works well, but it's not really glued. You just have to imagine it is. If I make a hole with a wall plug and screw in the glue pot, normally it holds. Or double-sided tape, and then it'll hold. Or boogers, several boogers. There you go, and it holds the little polyvinyl chloride. Because, yes, he does have some professional conscience, the guy, just to make sure he gets it just right. There you go. But it's a work of art. That thing, I'm telling you. Usually, when we remove the water heater over there, we find a serious drainage issue. So if someone wants to take this little shower tray, this magnificent tray, to put it in the garden. If you have a pool or shower, well, there you go, it could work. Yeah, guys, $4,000, $5,000, all that, I know it sounds like a dream. Give yourself the means. I'm trying to walk on the aerated concrete blocks without falling, but I'd really like to find the bill from the clown who did this. You're displaying the header, his uncle. Then grill him, if not done already. By repeatedly doing this, he likely got caught, started a new company, and continued in the same or another field. But these people are crooks, scammers, so they need to be exposed. And I also blame the people who sign with these kinds of people. They work in markets, knowing elderly people are easy targets. But we need to do prevention, as much prevention as possible, and not sign with these kinds of clowns. Who approaches you in the markets? If someone approaches you in a market, assume they're a scammer or fraudster. That's it, whether it's at a cafe or with a lady. He sold her a dream with his polyvinyl chloride junk, and that's it, it's done. So here's the result. $4,000 or $5,000 for a shower cabin, just 3 pieces of polyvinyl chloride junk. It's not even a brand, just a dispute, only the door is good quality, but it's not worth $4,000.
The partition, it's rotten.
Imagine the room next door is occupied and furnished, unlike in this project where we break everything without concern. Well, in that case, you'd have to break everything, so that's an extra budget. On top of the $4,000 or $5,000 you've already spent, you have to pay again for new work plus the room. So be careful, be careful, be careful. A waterproofing jar, if we start with that, that's the basics, but everything else is rotten, and that's what I'm telling you about. A waterproofing jar costs about €100, and you can do several bathrooms with it. So there you go. Even that, they don't care, it's serious. But well, that's how it is. What are you playing? The inside of the cabinet. Look at the inside of the cabinet.
The wood.
And moldy. Everything is moldy, everything is rotten. That's what happens with leaks. And so this is the plasterboard that was on this side, the bathroom side. So this is the inside. Look at the result. Some nice mold. I get why. This surface, we've seen tons of them, like plaster, like polished concrete or whatever. A good thickness to simply hide the water leaks.
But there are plenty of cases like that.
Everywhere I go to give bathroom estimates, there are water leaks, whether it's on the bedroom side, the bathroom side, everywhere there are water leaks. Because they do whatever, they just do whatever, simply no waterproofing. They don't care about the joints, they just use whatever they have on hand, and that's the result. The first brick door in the world with copper hinges, please. Some WD-40 to stop the noise. And then there you go, it opens, it closes. A view of some tapestries, several layers, 1970s style, I imagine. Yeah, I know it's dreamy. Old door, new door with an unusual shape since it was once a window. We're just going to fill in this part, so close up the door. And I'll be able to install my thermodynamic water heater right here and bring it into the house. It's still more convenient than putting the water heater there and having to go all the way around. Lintels can be done, but it's not practical. So we'll be able to install the new white polyvinyl chloride door, just a standard one, against the cinder blocks. It will open this way. And then, as I told you, we'll fill all of that in. I cut everything. You saw it with my friend of the day who I had over not long ago. It's the LTDS H600. We have a double battery, a diamond blade, and water supply. with this water tank that runs on battery. The small hose that fits perfectly and the faucet to adjust the flow. So I prefer scraping water rather than eating dust. Using water with the disc cools and preserves it. And as I told you, zero dust. All right, we're gonna fill in the door with the small cinder blocks. There are a few too many. I'll bring back any extras, but it's safer to have too many than too few. If we're missing cinder blocks once we start, we can't do anything, you know? So I'll bring back whatever is left over. We're going to use mortar, the VPI Mortar Pro 300. It's ready to use. Traditional mortar, ready to mix. 300 kilograms per cubic meter of sand for interior and exterior wall block laying only. And you can apply it in a thickness between 12 and up to 50 mm, so from 12 to 50 mm thick. These are 35 kg bags, so you mix it and then you lay the blocks.
The small lasers!
That worked well, right? So why two lasers? Simply because I was looking for angle brackets, corner strips, facade strips to make up for my differences because they're huge. One wall goes one way, the other the opposite, forming an S shape over there. So I prefer to do things properly because there are plenty of people who would say, come on, let's not make things complicated for ourselves. You just stick a ton of shims in there, pack silicone behind the door frame, and it'll be fine, as long as it closes. Me, I prefer it that way. Redo all the supports. Then, of course, there will be AMS polymer sealant, Robson FT101. It seals the joint, it's perfect, but I want proper supports to build on top of. And then, same thing for the lintel. I'm going to do the same thing again. But yeah, we're having fun. So if I take my ruler, there we go. There. We're good, it's pressing, and then if I take the ruler the other way.
Well, that's perfect. And over there, same thing.
So I put in screws, anchors, of course. There's one here, a bit everywhere to hold all this together. We're perfect, and then in the other direction. So there we go. I put it in wrong, actually. Let me show you. It was put in wrong. Now we're all set. There we go. What was I going to say? It's the same the other way. The laser basically starts from here. You see, I'm putting it in my throat. And here we follow, hop, 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 hop. So we have a perfect alignment. And there, she is there. Good job. To do quality work, take your time and be careful. Here's the result. I'll remove the little shims once the molding is glued. But I had to find a technique so that it presses in one direction and the other to get it right. My laser is perfectly plumb. Of course I'll remove them. They'll just get in my way when I do my plastering. I know what you'll say. It's ugly and I ruined everything with the foam. Why did I do it? Wait until you see the result. Cut it. It's going to be all nice and clean. Construction foam dries relatively quickly. Let's say it's done in 20 minutes. It'll be dry so I can cut everything. Okay, it's going to be all nice and clean, and I'll be able to set up my workbench and support them all around the door. We save time with construction foam, we save time, and it's got crazy sticking power. Once the foam is cut, it creates a seal around the edge. Waterproof, airtight, it acts as a seal for compression or expansion. And the advantage is that it's a bit flexible. Mortar anyway would crack over time. Next, we'll need to install a finishing strip between the garage and the house. Fill in the bigger holes and apply the mesh coating. We'll redo everything, scrape off the old and clean the plastic paint, but paint has never hidden the cinder blocks. Look at this, how beautiful it is. It's really, really ugly.
We'll also redo the sill and lintel, but right now I'm focused on the small strips I glued with foam.
And it doesn't move at all. There, you can press on it, try to pull on it, it's stuck. I need to remove the little wedges, and there you go. But I'm pretty satisfied with the result because it holds really well.
I finished the spray up there. So of course I put myself inside.
Okay, I finished the small spray can down there. We'll spray foam under the panels later, but we'll handle that then. We're currently focused on making mortar with VPI 430 Repass Structure R3, a gray fiber reinforced repair mortar. Apply thickness of 350 mm to ceilings, floors, walls, indoors or outdoors. Use 3.75 liters of water per bag. Knowing that, I will also add the mixing resin. VPI latex improves adhesion and strength. So be careful. Working time, 30 minutes. Initial set, 1 hour. Final set, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Waiting time between coats, 6 hours. And it can be sprayed. I don't have much to do, so we'll do it in a small bucket. The idea is to do the perimeter to have at least 10 centimeters, so we can then press the door with the compressed material and the glue. Well, I'm pretty satisfied because it was worth taking the time to do this.
And to properly correct the vertical alignment, rather than putting shims all over the place on the compressed material.
With a thickness like this, a ton of silicone is absolutely useless. It's better to take the time to correct the vertical alignment. The frame, at least you have something perfect, like the VPI Repass Structure K130 is extremely thin. But really, it's super nice to work with. It's fibered, of course. However, it sets in half an hour. But really, don't waste time on this. Avoid phone calls or chatting with neighbors, or you'll come back to a disaster. I found a piece of paneling and made sure it was straight. We start by taking advantage, and then up we go. And for up there, like this, across from one profile to another, and we pull. And then same thing in the other direction. Hop, hop, that's the result. After a quick wipe with a sponge, just to smooth it out, just to clean the strips. And then we're all set, we're good now. Instead of putting shims on the door frame between the cinder block and the door, a ton of clamps, a ton of silicone, you know what I mean? A really nasty job. Well, it's better to take your time and fix all that, the frame, the plumb lines, and you do a perfect job. While it dries, we'll make a hole here and create the door threshold. Depending on local suppliers, it could be slate, tile, or even travertine. We'll see. The concrete is right here. Here it is. It's VPI Beton Pro 350. I have more than enough here. We make the hole, set the threshold, wait for it to dry, then finish. Old door, new white polyvinyl chloride door so it can be standard. I replaced the plastic handle with a sturdier one. The cylinder was also changed because they give you standard stuff. I wanted a key and one that could be reproduced with a card. So the fastenings, I'm not really a fan of this type of fastening. You have to put the paste in the profile, then turn it, fold it, but well, at least it holds. So I really prefer to put screws through the profile and then washers, nuts, etc. But well, it holds. Anchors and screws aren't worth it. Just use chemical anchoring instead. That way it won't come loose. So chemical anchoring, you fell. Washers, locks, threads, nuts. And of course, with the ripper structure, which is right here. I'm setting up the terrace since I'm getting goods. So I put down a pallet and the ripper structure. We went around all the way to get back on track. Nice and level, so the door can be installed flat. And of course, the RUBSON FT101, it seals, it glues. Don't bother with neutral silicone and glue, just one product, so it seals and it sticks.
There's the compressible strip, of course, behind at floor level. At the threshold, it's the same. Compressible strip and glue.
And here is the result, and it closes perfectly. And the door, you can just hope. If I leave it open, you see, it doesn't close, it doesn't open either, it stays in position, so it's properly installed. So of course, we'll have to redo the whole facade, the corners, the apron, the lintel, etc. But we'll see about that later. The exterior door is a polyvinyl chloride door. As I told you, it's a standard one with its small threshold. And of course, we redid a mini terrace, I would say, with non-slip tiles and some nice little finishing profiles. And so this is an aluminum profile with an ultra-rigid, non-slip polyvinyl chloride stair nose. Wheelbarrow, lawnmower. Run this over it, at least it's sturdy. I found no gold bars or bills, just a small coin. Napoleon, the second emperor. I'll clean it and show you next time. Who knows? Maybe I'm a millionaire. There could be plenty of them. Maybe they're in the crawl space. I'm a multimillionaire. Well, Napoleon II. Thanks to him, I didn't do anything foolish. Maybe he brought me luck by banging wildly on the wooden frames. I thought, if I break a French door or window pane, if someone bangs on it, that would suck, but nothing was damaged. For those asking why the toilet is still there, I think it's cool to leave it in the middle. I like it. Same goes for the water heater, but I want to cut it open to see the water. The look of the water in there, the house hasn't been lived in for years. There might be tadpoles in there. No, I don't think so, but I'd really like to see what the water looks like. In a water heater, just open the water heater and you'll realize what a water heater looks like in an uninhabited house. It can't be good. What else? It's easier to remove the water heater and toilet after the partition wall is removed. At least you don't have to deal with partitions and doors. We'll be able to clear them out more easily. We need to clear everything from the kitchen to the bathroom on this floor. To redo all the drainage, we'll put oriented strand board back in. In the attic, we must break the ceiling, wall linings, and remove insulation before running electricity and water. I'm going to get the trailer to haul away the drywall sheets. Same with the scrap wood. I might cut it in half and toss it out or just use it for the barbecue. That could be nice. So I'll see you in the next video with Napoleon II, or if you don't see me again, it means it was worth a fortune.